Today is December 11th, 2145. It has been 7 weeks since all information of the past has spontaneously combusted. Governments throughout the world have come together to prevent a new dark age. They have agreed that the only way to avoid such a relapse is to go back in time and regain this knowledge. An elite team of time travelers has accepted the mission of going back to the old regime to begin regaining the information we have lost. We will all be witnesses to this historic day.
Whoa, hold your horses. What do you think you're doing prancing around in that hideous outfit?
I'm here from the 22nd century trying to find out what happened during the old regime. Do you think you can help?
And just why would I help you? Go ask some surf or something.
Hi, I'm here from the 22nd century trying to find out what happened during the old regime. Do you think you can help?
Well, I don't know what the old regime is, but I can tell you what life was like today in Europe. In this day and age, Europe is based off horror things. The aristocrats receiving many luxuries based on their inheritance while we get nothing. The relationship that the church has created between the state and aristocracy, our labor system organized into guilds, and lastly, all of us peasants being taxed ridiculously when the government knows we can't pay. It's okay though. We should stick to our traditions. It calls for social order.
Wow, there must be some serious tensions between the social classes here. Well, thanks for your help. Once I get enough information about the old regime, I'm sending it back to the regular TV broadcast.
Our time travelers has just sent us enough information to resume our normal broadcasting, beginning with the real aristocracy of Europe.
We are the real aristocrats of Europe. Hi ladies, welcome to my tea party. Thank you for coming.
Thanks. Having my husband as a noble of the sword, things can get pretty hectic with all the work that has to get done.
Well, as a Prussian aristocrat, we've been working hard for our judicial protection, power over serfs, and exemption from taxes.
Oh my gosh, us Schlachta have been working our butts off and not gaining any money or power, except for me, because I'm among the few who has money and gaining political power.
Well, I am a hobaro, which is a wealthy, powerful noble in France, if you didn't know.
Well, at least us younger nobles are gaining power and wealth, unlike these weak Polish nobles.
Well, we are exempt from all our tax. Meanwhile, you're only exempt from your personal taxes.
Not to brag, but in Britain, we have controlled seats in the House of Commons, which contributes to major government decisions, making my position in society very important.
Well, in Poland, we possess the right of life or death over our serfs, making us very important to our nation as well.
In France, nobles were not forced to do royal corvées, which are public works for those of you who are not sophisticated enough to understand French.
Ladies, calm down. Thanks again for coming to my tea party, but I think it's time for you guys to go.
Let's take a look at two Eastern and Western European sisters arguing at the family table over family lives.
I don't know about you Eastern Europeans, but here in Western Europe we live in small nuclear families. There is never more than 2 generations living in a household due to late marriage age and early death. Most women don't get married till age 33 and men till age 36.
Well, that is ridiculous. In Eastern Europe, people are married by age 20, and we live in large households consisting of 9 or more people. And when we go to get married, the government highly regulates it. And another thing, I can't believe you're sending your own daughter to become a servant.
Well, I don't know if you Eastern Europeans don't know what a servant is and think it's a serf, but in Western Europe, servants are in no way below the people they work for. They're important parts of every household. Everyone's a servant at one time or another. How would you know? You don't even have any kids.
Well, childbirth is very dangerous, and contagious diseases infect many pregnant mothers. I don't want my children to end up abandoned in the streets. Besides, only 10% of children survive to adulthood.
Hello, welcome to the show, In the Garden. Today, we will be talking about agriculture and food supply in the old regime. The main goal of the traditional peasant society was its stability to ensure local food supply. In the garden. The further east you are in Europe, the more uncertain the people felt about a local food supply. Jethro Tull, Charles Turnip Townsend, and Robert Bakewell were all people who made agriculture easier in their society. In the garden. They used things like animal breeding, iron plows, and crop rotation to help them during these difficult times. We use some of these today in modern agriculture. In the garden. Cooperating. Enclosures were created to use land more rationally to achieve commercial profits. For example, transformation from strips into block fields. In the garden. That's all. See you next time in the garden.
Recently, we've been talking to many people about their opinions on religious matters here in Europe. The majority of the Jewish population lives on the eastern side of our continent, more specifically Poland, Lithuania, and Ukraine. Today we have a special guest, Samuel Oppenheimer. Although you and the rest of the Jewish population have found areas to live, you are still limited as to your rights.
Yes, many times we live amongst ourselves because we haven't been welcome in many countries such as Russia. Catherine the Great had decided that she no longer wants us living there because it required the country to supply extensive amount of protection for our people living there. But we have been lucky enough to find other countries such as Germany, France, and Poland which have welcomed us. We are often looked upon as resident aliens, so we are separated into separate communities known as ghettos.
And what exactly is a ghetto?
A ghetto is a primarily Jewish village in the countryside where we are allowed to practice our religion freely. We are also required to govern ourselves and support our own community without the help of the actual government.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Tune in tomorrow at 8 a.m. for another episode of Good Morning Europe.
Hi everyone, I'm Mary. You might have seen me on The Real Aristocrats of Europe. Today, I'm here to talk about something near and dear to my heart. Clothing. I know you'll never be able to achieve this level of beauty and sophistication, but you can come one step closer by shopping at Mary's Great Britain department store. By coming together and shopping at Mary's, we can become a beautiful and brighter Britain. And today, on 60 Seconds, we're going to talk about the growth of cities in the old regime. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! The urban, poor, and rich were segregated in different communities. Aristocrats and members of the upper middle class lived in fashionable townhouses, often constructed around laid-out green squares. Poorest town dwellers usually congregated along rivers. Small merchants and artisans lived above their shops. The urban conditions of cities were not the best. Pure water was rare. Animals such as cattle, pigs, and goats roamed the streets. Many prostitutes, vagrants, beggars, and alcoholics were in the city. There was little food, much disease, and poor housing. At the top of urban social structure sat small groups of nobles, large merchants, bankers, financiers, clergy, and government officials. The middle class was comprised of prosperous merchants, tradespeople, bankers, grocers, butchers, fishmongers, carpenters, cabinet makers, smiths, printers, handloom weavers, and tailors. Riots also took place, include bread riots, religious riots, and political riots. Violent riots were typically directed towards property rather than individuals. Thank you. That's 60 seconds. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tech Time, where we introduce you to the latest and greatest technologies of the old regime.
Hi, I'm Alexis, and I'm in the field to talk to you about changes and advancements in the textile industry. It all started with the spinning jenny, which allowed the textile weavers to keep up with the demand of the spinners. The water frame allowed for the production of items with pure cotton material, and the power loom provided a power source for mechanical weaving. That's all for right now, but let's go to our reporter in the field to talk about major technologies of industrialization.
I'm here today to discuss two of the most important technologies of the time, iron production and the steam engine. The steam engine was the first to supply a steady and seemingly endless supply of energy and was used throughout many different industries. Iron production was also a major development of the time period and accounted for the majority of heavy industry during the time period.
Here are the instructions on how to make your very own surf shirt that go along with our kit.
Usually, surf shirts are ripped up because of hard labor, but we have these! First, you cut it up. And when it looks like this, you're ready for the next step. To the dirt! Once you find a good patch of dirt, throw it in and step on it! Voila!
Hi, you're live on Sarah on the Street, where we interview the average person walking around and ask them about their place in society.
I'm a peasant, a serf more specifically. I'm legally bound to a plot of land, as well as my children, my children's children, and their children. I belong to my landlord, who is very powerful, and I do what he says, which is usually farming.
What about serfs in other countries?
In Russia, it's much worse, but in the Ottoman Empire, peasants are free. In Russia, serfdom and slavery are practically the same thing.
Thanks. Have fun ranking. Hi, you're on Sarah on the Street.
Oh my, will it be painful?
No, I just asked a few questions. Speaking of which, what do you do for fun?
Well, my husband enjoys going hunting. He requires a special license, and it's very expensive.
Well, what about those that don't?
Well, legitimate hunters like my husband don't take very well to those poachers. They invented a special system to help get rid of the poacher problem. My husband's even killed a poacher or two himself.
It seems poaching causes a lot of problems.
Yeah, the black market is ridden with illegal animals. Not that I would know anything about that. Stop it! Every person, leave me alone!
I guess that's it for today, folks. And here's some bloopers.
In the garden. The further east that you go in Europe, what?
How are you doing?
Get Lauren, it's a little further. It's a little further.
Hey, get out of my garden.
Yeah. You know.
Well, I'm legally brown.
Have fun raking.
You jerk!
You're on Sarah on the street.
What do you want, Kenzie?
You're on Sarah on the street. Can I?
No!
Sarah on the street. Can I ask you a few questions?
No, I don't talk to peasants.
Someone is the drama queen on set.
Not me, that's her! What?
I'm gonna say I like what you did there, but don't do it.
I like what you do.
But don't. Oh my.
Oh my.
Go.
Well, there's a lot of problems, and then.
La-di-da-di-da.
Mom!
No, it's ma.
No, it's not. It's
You can do a lot of problems.
Yeah, the Bible.
That's it for today, folks. Oh my God, it hurt.
That's why never let Alexis fake stab you in the back with the sword.
Oh my God.
Get up!
Whoa. Hold the phone. What do you think you're doing prancing around in that hideous outfit of yours?
Alexis, they didn't have phones back.
Oh, shut up!
Yeah, it's recording.
Welcome to Good Morning Europe. Countries such as Russia. I can't talk. I'm so sorry.
That's all the time we have for.
Alright, you might have seen me on the what show am I on?
Real Housewives, Real Aristocrats. Go!
Hi everyone, I'm Mary, and I